I am from Ghana. I went to school in Ghana. I was born in Ghana, went to school in Ghana. Music was always in the house. My father was a typical headmaster. What actually brought me to guitar playing was when my father bought my brother a guitar for his birthday.
I would like you to tell our viewers how you began, how your musical journey began, and where you're from.
That's right. I am from Ghana. I went to school in Ghana. I was born in Ghana, went to school in Ghana. Music was always in the house. My father was a typical headmaster, and sometimes he would organize the school's choir to sing the local music. We traveled a lot wherever we were in Ghana. Sometimes his garage would be where the music teacher would come with the students, and then me as a little kid, I'll be there watching everything. And my father himself was a piano player, trained in the classical way. The only time I heard him play back home music is when he was having a party at the house. Then he would play the piano. He would play all the Bon blame yo hami, and he'd be playing on the piano. But apart from that, he'd be playing like Tchaikovsky and all that kind of thing. So these things rub off on me.
Okay.
I went to school, and at school there was a school band, and I went into that straight away. But before then, what actually brought me to guitar playing was when my father bought my brother a guitar for his birthday. And all night, he hadn't told my brother, it was in the wardrobe. And all night the wind would blow and it would just make some sound, and that is how I got very close to guitar playing. But really, my journey into playing professionally started at school. We had school groups, we had competitions all over Ghana, and my band used to, win quite a bit. My influences were always the guitar bands in Ghana. I still remember the first time, again, my father invited a 3-piece guitar band to play the Saturday evening, and the afternoon they spent time tuning up and sound checking, and I just stood there and I was amazed, because the contrast between what I heard at home, Chopin and all that, and that it was like another world, so this is what attracted me to my own music, the guitar bands, which of course Kwame Nkrumah, as the leader of Ghana, also made sure Ghanaian music, from all the tribal music, the Ghana music was played on radio, music from the Akan. So we were all influenced by that time in the 60s when I was going to school. I left school in 1970 and then joined the Ghana Broadcasting Band, where I met some of the very older musicians who had studied. Before then, all I could play was like James Brown and then a bit of High Life. But when I met these old guys who were my mentors, then they showed me a bit more about jazz music and how to improve my reading. I'm still trying to read better, but they taught me in the 70s with a big band in the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. And with the Ghana Broadcasting Band, we had to play for many different occasions, so that widened my scope quite a bit. Aside from that, I still had a band called Bumbaya, which we used to play in, and we were very good. We won a few competitions, and then we had a management which brought us all to England in 1974. So that's how my story in England starts. This is a general idea.
So that is a general view.
General view, yeah.
People that have got a little bit of understanding.
Yeah.
You have done a whole lot of things. You have done things for guitar magazines.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Guitar Magazine actually approached me to write something on high life music, and that's how that happened. In terms of teaching, I've also been part of projects where we go to schools in England and then we do workshops, and that's another way also of teaching. But I did a Guitar Magazine article one. I did it once before. Yeah.
Wow. So,
The thing also with me is I tend to have so many ideas going, and if I'm not careful, if I stuck with the writing for the Guitar Magazine, I might not, and I love to play. You can easily become like an intellectual.
Right.
Yeah. That's a slight danger.
But that's not dangerous. It expands on your CV.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at, there are so many guitarists around here in England. Of course, I'm talking about African guitarists. But they don't seem to be active like you are.
It's an interesting question, because today, knowing I was going to meet you, I was thinking about something like this, because I thought, why is it that I like to, I'm playing, for example, with this young lady from the Gambia, Sona Jobate, and that's Gambian guitar playing, which I play. I don't play, obviously not as deep as the Gambians, but I can handle it. And I'm wondering, why is it that I seem to be able to play with Nigerians one time, Gambians one other time, Guineans one. And I realized that because as a kid, we traveled quite a bit. So even though I'm a Ga by tribe, culturally, my culture is mixed in. I'm a traveler, So that, I think, is what makes me very flexible to try and learn from different cultures. I think that is why.
If we look at it in a different way, is it because you are a musician, you are a guitarist, but you happen to be Ghanaian?
Yes, that is true too, JJ. But then I would have some guitarists who are Ghanaians just play the Ghanaian, idioms, if you like.
Yeah.
If they are Ashanti, they usually play Ashanti music. But I'll tend to play the Ashanti music, and I'll play the Ga Kpanlogo as well, or what they call the fireman.
Okay.
Fireman guitar style.
Yeah.
And then soon I see JJ is playing something from Uganda, and I just want to connect. Let JJ teach me something, because I think it's my nature.
Well, because
to explore.
I was talking to a friend of mine. He's English. He promotes African music, and he's been everywhere. He said, well, look, you see, one thing, you have to see yourself as a musician who
I see what you mean.
Plays African music, because that comes naturally, because that's where you're from. And I think for many musicians, they like to create their own circles. The circle is very small, and then you want to create another circle, and you want to, maybe that's where they stay there.
Their own circles. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
You
see what I mean? You see that. Now let us go to guitar, because I know I have hired you actually to come and do some recordings on people's recordings.
Recordings, that's right.
And sometimes I pull out my CDs and listen and think, this guy, it's too much. Yeah, these chops. You play like a machine, but then again you're a human being.
That's right.
Is it because you just tell us why that is?
As a machine, that's not very good.
No. What I mean, machine. Say for example, before you came in, I was watching Tito Puente playing timbales.
Right. Yeah.
But you can also play xylophone.
Xylophone. Okay.
This is something that I didn't know. The time. When you put a metronome.
Yeah.
Tick, tack, tack, tick, tack. You are there.
Right there.
You can't go forward. You can't go backwards. That's what I meant.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. I didn't mean that you're playing like a robot. No. Naturally, you've got that clock in your.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it is in the brain.
I think it's just like you're saying. I'm just a musician.
Yeah.
and you put a track there, and the ideas come. Like I think this is what we musicians have. I must say, I never really appreciated it as much, that much myself, because I'm doing it, and people will say, "Oh, these ideas come from the heavens or is spiritual," and I used to think, "Oh, all you do is just practice, practice, and then you get it all." But that practice is only part of it.
Yeah.
Somehow we have, isn't the muse? We have art. We have been given
Yeah.
a blessed, how do you call it, a blessed luggage to carry, which is art and music.
Yeah.
And the minute you put the tape there and you tell me to play my part, straight away my mind kicks into gear
Yeah.
to play. Obviously we practice to make sure. I mean, the guitar, for example, the way the frets are, look at our hands. When we do this, our hands are kind of diagonal, but the frets are like this. So obviously, if you don't keep practicing, you might have
gotta keep the shape.
you got the shape. Otherwise, you might have problems. But we practice. But the inspiration to play things will always have to, I believe, comes from interaction with people. It's not. It's not a kind of a robotic thing or just a technical thing. To actually create has to have, especially in the African context, we always played music as part of the society, not something removed as an intellectual exercise, but you have to, this is where I think my inspiration comes to play.
Now, we were talking earlier, and then something all of a sudden came into my mind. You have played almost everywhere. You played in India. Have you played in China?
China, I haven't.
Okay.
The nearest I'll be going in October to South Korea, so I'm getting closer.
That's
I've
good.
done Thailand though.
Okay,
Yeah.
you see.
Yeah, so
You see.
that eastern side.
Maybe one thing to add to that, because maybe your character, you are not restricted.
Right.
You are not seeing yourself just because I'm an African, I will stick with Africans
Right.
and stay there. Maybe that's why people like you to play with them. And of course, then your musicality.
Right, comes through.
It comes
Oh,
through.
I haven't thought about it, but you could be right like that. I think it's interesting because Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president, really made us feel so proud as Africans and Ghanaians that whatever any culture in the world does, we should be able to do it too, and our minds should be open enough to be able to operate in any terrain, And I think that is part of, even the Osibisa story, which I have a small part in. That's the way Osibisa came out, because they just felt if Mijaka can do rock and roll, we can also do rock and roll straight from Africa. And I think that's part of what it is, that I'm not fazed by playing with any kind of culture, because I'm carrying, if you like, Julius Nyerere and President Kwame Nkrumah's dream forward to say we are African and we are,
Correct.
we are part of the international community, and we are no less than anybody. We are not saying we are better than anybody, but we're no less than anybody, and we can spar with anybody.
But if we look deeper into it, logically speaking, you're playing a guitar which has been introduced to Africa not really long ago. So maybe subconsciously you're saying, look, man, I'm playing a Western instrument, but I can also fuse African chops, which you
That's
do
right.
exceedingly. Or maybe
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. The only way I would like to qualify a slide is that the way that I play our high life music is something that's been passed down by the older generations. They took the foreign instrument, and then like they used the separewa techniques, You
Which
know,
you have made actually record. We will.
that's right.
Yeah.
They use the techniques, they transfer it onto the guitar. You know, I think Thomas Mafumo also did it with the Imbira.
Mbera, yeah.
Yeah, on his guitar. So there were people, there were ancestors before us who have helped us on our way.
Because we're gonna see you just demonstrate, just to get some chops.
Yes,
know.
yes.
But before we get there, I want to ask this question: where do you think African music is today here in England?
It's a very tough question. I mean, African music in England. For example, I mean, I'm currently working with one lady called Eno and a group called Ibibio Sound Machine, where we are fusing. She sings in Southeastern Ibibio language, which is Southeastern Nigerian. Her lyrics are in that language. I play the kind of high life with a bit of rock thrown in, you know. So, because she's the main person, front person of the band, I would say, therefore, it's African music. But then around what we are doing, there's a Brazilian percussionist, which is African music, really. But then we move into, there's a synthesizer, which really now you're moving to very European.
It's kind of a fusion.
It's a fusion. So I don't know whether to classify that as African music, but it's got African music in there. Obviously, there are players in England like Mose, you know, who plays very traditional, kora music, and but even though he's great, he hasn't been marketed in any big way. Sona Jobate, who I play with, this lady, probably the main lady player of the kora, she's doing quite well. She's being marketed very well. We're going to Mexico in October for 2 weeks, South Korea for about 4 days. So she's spreading her wings, and she's playing more authentic African music. Her grandfather is a legendary kora player. In fact, this lady is wonderful. Sona, I think she's in Gambia now, setting up a school. You know.
I've got her.
You got her.
Friend too.
Well.
Actually, you know what I meant to say?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's a different question. Why are we not seeing African bands today here in England? Really, like you guys, when you came out of Sibisa, shook the whole world. Since then,
I have no idea. I don't know. This is what I was trying. I really don't know what goes on I know there are labels that are marketing old African records quite a bit, but I don't see the salificators or use of draws coming out big. I don't see that anymore. There are a few acts, who are quite, medium range acts who play at festivals all the time. But I haven't seen anyone come out like Salificator, even though I know the talent is there.
Like Osibisa.
Oh, Sibisa, right, exactly. Okay, I keep forgetting. Yeah. I forget Sibisa. I haven't seen that, and maybe I don't really know. Osibisa was more of a fusion of rock and African music. I mean, Ibibio, what we're doing is another fusion, but
there is another band. What is it called? Is led by a Ghanaian guy, KC. You know KC?
Oh, that Richmond.
Yeah,
Richmond.
Yeah.
Man,
even me, I'm forgetting the name.
No.
It's a fusion. It's got German guitarist and.
That's right. It will come in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, Richmond, Kessie, Richmond.
Yeah.
Richmond's Yaba Funk.
Yaba
Funk.
Yeah,
Yaba Funk. Yeah.
Well, yeah, sorry, but we've got it. But funk.
That's right. Yeah.
Maybe that's what we need. We need a fusion of Africans and other musicians from the continent.
That's right.
In order to get away from this idea that we have to remain Africans.
Right. And this, I mean, Osibisa's time was when I suppose it was more something exotic, far away. But now, I'm surprised at how many European young kids, when you mention Thomas Mafumo, little kid about 21 years, they know about it.
Yeah.
Fela Kuti, they know. Yeah. So in fact, there's a marketing, there's a market for that, and also because they love the music. So obviously the musicians can come on stage together with us too.
Definitely. So now you're gonna have to play something for us to play us out.
Right.
Show us
okay. Yes, that was a song called African Unity.